Now, for the next few minutes, we're going to talk goalkeepers. A few different names in the Premier League this season, of course. Gianluigi Donnarumma, Senne Lammens, Georgi Mamadashvili, Liverpool. But who stands out in the crowd? Ben will tell us shortly what he thinks of the Manchester United number one. Senne Lammens has been in only 5 games so far, but has made an impression, or so it seems. And the United number one shirt, deemed to be one of the toughest to wear in world football. But we do have some great goalkeepers in the Premier League. So who are the top 5? Ben, shall we start with your number 5? We'll do it in reverse order as they do, shall we?
Okay. I've got to first of all caveat the fact that I'm not a massive fan of going 5-4-3-2. I'm happy to say the 5 because I just think it's so dependent on form.
All right. Well, let's do the 5, and then I'll nail you.
And then I'll pick my
I'll
order.
nail you for a number 1.
All right. So I'll read out the 5. Okay, who I think at this moment are probably the 5 top goalkeepers. Right. And I will say that I think there's some unbelievable goalkeeping going on in the Premier League at this moment in time. So I've got Emi Martinez, Aston Villa, Alisson, Liverpool, David Raya, Arsenal, Gigi Donnarumma at Man City, and Caoimhin Kelleher at Brentford. I think at this moment in time are probably the best goalkeepers, but there are probably other goalkeepers who are in more form or currently playing better than some of them as well. It's just being a top goalkeeper is so much more than just sort of your name and what carries with it. There's so much detail and data to look at with goalkeepers, such minutiae. It's a fascinating topic. I love talking goalkeeping.
Well, that's just as well, because we're going to do it for a while, because I'm interested there that in your top 5 there are no England goalkeepers. There's no Jordan Pickford, there's no Dean Henderson, and there's no Nick Pope.
Yep. So my 6, 7, and 8 are my 6, 7, and 8 are Jordan Pickford, Dean Henderson, and Nick Pope. And I still, if we just look at the England team for a second, I still think that Jordan Pickford is, of the modern era anyway, probably last 20 years, our greatest goalkeeper. I really do think so. I think for how underrated he is, I think he's a victim of the fact that he plays for Everton. No disrespect to Everton, by the way, but I just think that if he played for a big boy, everybody would be talking about him so much more than what they already do.
He's got 81 caps. I mean, he has been an automatic choice for almost as long as I can remember.
Yeah, it's just his reliability, especially over the last few years as well. I think if you look at maybe 5 years ago for Everton, there were a few periods and a few spells, but nothing major. But in the last 4 or 5 years, for club and country, he has found this level of consistency that it just lends itself to England specifically so well. The run that he's on with the national team in terms of clean sheets is absolutely phenomenal. But just having that goalkeeper where you know you're going to get a 7 out of 10 every single game is such a nice thing for the manager. It's that reliability that managers want sometimes. If you watch Jordan Pickford, by the way, actually watch him during a game, he's a madman. Absolute madman. It's like he has all this pent-up energy. It's like nervous energy that he's got to expend. So when the ball goes at the other end of the pitch, he kind of runs around, he's flailing his arm around, he's talking to the bench, he's sort of almost commentating himself through the game. But I think he uses this to actually regulate himself, calm himself down, so that when he is called upon, he's ready to go and he's in a nice, calm state.
Yeah. I mean, the wild card in there, obviously, is Caoimhin Kelleher.
Yeah.
Who was forced to move because he couldn't get a regular game at Liverpool.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal this season. I think what he's been exposed to at Liverpool, because he played quite a few games at Liverpool, don't forget. Alisson's had quite a few spells where he's been out injured. I think the way he handled himself at Liverpool, for one, was phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant performances, really calm and measured. But I think that comes off the back of, one, obviously his character. I think that's just how he is as a person anyway. But secondly, just being surrounded by Alisson as the number one goalkeeper, getting to watch that week in, week out. Because if you watch him play Alisson, he is the personification of calmness under pressure. Any moment, you know that he's in full control of everything he's doing. And I think Caoimhin's had this chance to be able to really watch him and learn from the best in that position. It kind of reminds me a little bit of my time when I was at Man United with Edwin van der Sar. Same sort of thing. I didn't make it at Man United at the time. One, because I had Van der Sar in front of me, where I used to just think, my gosh, you're so good. Honestly, you're so good. He's in control of everything. He's so calm. But when I did leave Man United, I was so well equipped then to deal with the rest of my career. It set me up for the rest of my career. And I think that's the same thing as what's happened with Caoimhin.
Yeah. It's interesting though when you said these are my top 5 right now.
Yeah.
Because I look back at last season and Nottingham Forest, Matt Sells might have been in there, but he hasn't had the same sort of season this season. How quickly I'm not saying it has with Matt Sells, but how quickly does confidence evaporate? Can it just be one mistake?
Yeah, it's really hard to put like a percentage on it. If you could say how important is the mental side of being a goalkeeper, it's so hard to put a percentage on. But it's at least 50%. It's half the battle, Jeff. It really is. You look already this season. We've had quite a few teams swapping their goalkeepers already. It's never a good sign. It's never a good sign. As soon as you start changing your goalkeepers, you know you're in a little bit of trouble. So Leeds have done it with Carl Darlow and Lucas Perry. Wolves, Jose Sarr and Sam Johnston. West Ham with Areola and Mads Hermansen. Bearing in mind, Mads Hermansen signed for a lot of money in the summer as well. Man United as well. Lammens, Anana, Bayindir, they've all had a go. So, yes, it can really change very quickly. It could be having a bad week of training. It could be making a mistake last week and you're carrying it into the next game. But like I say, it's all in your head. It really is.
I want to move on to Manchester United at the moment, but I said I would nail you down on the number 1. So who would be your number 1? Because you could probably make a case, for all, well, certainly 4 of the 5 of them anyway.
If I had to pick one, if I had a cup final tomorrow, I'm picking Emi Martinez.
Yeah.
I think his level of consistency over the last few years especially has been probably better than everybody else. There's no surprise, obviously, winning the Leviathan Award Best Goalkeeper the last couple of years. Obviously, Gigi won it this year. But I just think for somebody who I know he's got too many X factors for me. That's why I think he's just the best. He's got so many X factors about him. I always try and look at the goalkeepers and see, right, what are the bits that are exceptional, real exceptional? And Alisson's got a lot. Raya's got an awful lot. But I think Emi Martinez has probably got more than the others.
Hard for a goalkeeper to be a leader, isn't it? But you get the impression that Martinez probably is that.
Without doubt. He leads by example as well, though. So even if he's not just shouting and talking and pointing, he leads by example of just pure will to win. You see some of the theatrics that he's done in the past in the FA Cup final against France, against Man United. Remember that Bruno Fernandes penalty where he puts it over, but all that kind of stuff, you can just tell he's a winner and he will do anything to win.
Yeah. A lot of eyebrows raised. Well, mine were certainly when Senne Lammens came into Manchester United. Came from a team where he's playing in front of 10, 12,000 people. To play for United in front of capacity crowds at Old Trafford and right through the Premier League. I say he's only played 5 times so far in the Premier League, being widely praised. Now, are we premature with that praise? Is it over the top, or has it been merited by what you've seen him do so far?
Yeah, it's been merited, in fairness. It really has. You've got to give him praise because it's such a hard gig. That Man United job is such a hard gig. And there's no surprise as well that since he came in, the team looks so much more composed.
Why is it so hard, Ben?
The pressure involved in it, the experiences that Man United have had with goalkeepers, the history of goalkeepers, Edwin van der Sar, your Peter Schmeichels, the best goalkeepers in the world at that times, and they're big boots to fill. They really are. Like I say, I tried it myself and I could not fill them boots. They're tough old boots to fill. And I think Senne Lammens coming in at this moment in time when he did was probably the perfect fit for him, because they were having a tough time with Anana, they were having a tough time with Bayindir, and they just needed somebody to come in and hopefully be settled, nice and calm, breed confidence for the rest of the team. And not only him, but the rest of the team as well. They found a bit more of a formation that works. They found a settled starting lineup that works. And when you've got that just gets everybody onto the right foot. But I've got to say, from watching him firsthand, he looks very calm, very composed. He's very willing to come for balls, for high crosses into the goal. And not just your run-of-the-mill ones where you know he should be able to come and happily take. He's on the front foot taking them as well. And that's the bit for me, because that involves a bit of bravery as well. And to have that bravery when you know you've got hundreds of millions of Man United fans watching, it's a good thing to have. It really is.
Yeah. What's it like to make your first appearance at Old Trafford?
Oh, I was so nervous, Jeff. My first appearance at Old Trafford was actually for the England national team, actually. I was on loan at Watford, and when I made my England debut, Wembley was still being built, so we played at Old Trafford against Spain, lost 1-0. That was a nervy affair, don't get me wrong, but my Man United debut, home to Birmingham City, we won 1-0, played actually really well, to be fair. But yeah, I just remember going into games with Manchester United just thinking, don't mess up, just don't mess up. But it's the worst thing to do, honestly, it's the worst thing to do, Jeff. You've got to go in thinking, I'm going to help everybody today. I'm going to be the hero.
How old were you then?
I'm going to say 26, maybe 25-ish, maybe 24, okay. 25. But yeah, it probably the wrong club at the wrong time for me. I think later on in my career, I learned to deal with all that sort of pressure and just playing first team football. But at that moment in time, it was just sort of big, bright eyes everywhere and just thinking, oh my gosh, this is Man United. I shouldn't be here.
Because Senne Lammens is a very young man still. And he's passed one test, hasn't he? But there are going to be tests to come.
Oh, yeah.
You know, at the time when he makes his first mistake, for example.
Yeah, that will be the acid test as well. But all you can do is base it on what he's done so far. And he just looks so calm and composed with it. And I think that, first and foremost, is the biggest battle. He's obviously a good goalkeeper, and there are going to be tougher times to come. But passing this first test is the most important one.
Jack has texted, he says, Martinez is nowhere near Alisson. I can think of multiple Martinez mistakes. I can't think of any goals where I think Alisson could have done better. I'm sure you've got your own opinions, and we'd love to hear them. I'm going to throw another name out there, which I'm not saying be in the top 5, but I think has been done brilliantly well for the last season, 2 seasons, and that's Bert Verbruggen at Brighton. He's
totally agree. Yeah.
He's 23 years.
There's so many more I could have mentioned as well. Vicario at Spurs done really well for the last couple of years. Bart Verbruggen, I think the Premier League at this moment in time, because the people over the last couple of years, Jamie Carragher said something, didn't he? The standard of goalkeeping has dipped, and this season and off the back of last season, I think it's really stepped up again. I really do.
Okay.